Jews, Christians and Muslims commonly accept. Unlike God, Jesus is not all-knowing. He is not omnipotent. He is not perfectly good. He is not eternal. He is not immortal. He is not unchanging. Therefore, it seems obvious that he cannot be God. If we compare these incidents from Mark with Matthew's version of these same stories, we can see that he has removed Jesus' potentially embarrassing statements, at least from a later Christian point of view. As a mental experiment, let's assume that Matthew had a copy of Mark in front of him. What Matthew does is to make Mark fit his understanding of Jesus. In each case, Matthew introduces significant changes to Mark's account, with the result that Matthew has a somewhat higher Christology. That's a bit of jargon meaning a higher doctrine of Jesus, Christology. A higher Christology than Mark. Matthew has quietly fixed statements where Mark implied or said that Jesus was weak or ignorant. For example, in Mark 5:30, a woman with a flow of blood that had persisted for 12 years touched Jesus' clothes and was cured. Mark portrays Jesus as not knowing who touched him. Mark's Gospel says, immediately aware that power had gone forth from him, Jesus turned about in the crowd and said, "Who has touched my clothes?" In Matthew's version of the story, Jesus knew immediately who touched him, picked her out of the crowd and said to her, "Courage, my daughter, your faith has restored you to health." Here's a second example. In Mark we read, as Jesus started out on his way, a man ran up to him and fell to his knees before him. "Good teacher," he asked, "what must I do to inherit eternal life?" "Why do you call me good?" Jesus answered. "No one is good but God alone. You know the commandments. Do not murder, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not give false testimony, do not defraud, honour your father and mother." "Teacher," he declared, "all these I have kept since I was a boy." Jesus looked at him and loved him. "One thing you lack," he said. "Go sell everything you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in